The Last Train Home, or Watching Screens. The train hissed to a halt, and he stepped on board, the fluorescent lights above casting a pale glow through the empty carriage. Late at night, the London Underground was a strange liminal space, not quite of the city, yet tethered under it by rails and tunnels. He collapsed onto a seat near the door, his head resting against the cold glass. He hadn't meant to be out so late, but this city had a way of pulling time from under him, confusing its passage. There were few others in the carriage. A young man swiping at his phone, a woman with her headphones on and eyes closed, and an older man clutching a briefcase to his chest as if it might escape. The screens above the seats played muted advertisements, their colours bright and garish in the sterile lighting. "Tired? Refresh yourself with Aquanova, hydration for the modern soul," one blared in cheerful blue and white. He nodded off to sleep quickly, his head sinking forward, the train rocking gently, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on tracks lulling him into deeper sleep. When he stirred slightly, he saw the train was full. Every seat was taken, and more people stood gripping the metal poles, swaying with the train's motion. He blinked groggily. The air felt heavier, charged. No one spoke. No one moved. They were all looking at him. His mind, fogged by exhaustion and interrupted sleep, refused to process the moment. He shifted in his seat, glancing at the screen above. "Stay connected, we see you," the ad proclaimed. Its text too pointed, too direct. For the briefest moment the screen flickered. The advertisement glitched, colours bleeding into one another, before resolving into the grainy image of a boy. No older than 12, he wore a slightly tatty hoodie pulled halfway up, casting his eyes into shadow. He didn't move, didn't speak, just watched. Not the carriage, him. The image stuttered, distorted by static, then returned to the ad as if nothing had changed. A man seated across from him gave a slow, deliberate smile, his eyes unblinking. He closed his own eyes. Just a dream, he told himself, the kind of half-waking nightmare that feels too vivid but dissipates when you wake properly. The train jerked to a stop, jolting him awake. He sat up sharply, his breath catching in his throat. The carriage was empty again. His own reflection stared back at him from the dark window opposite, pale and drawn. Something was wrong. The train began to move again, the familiar lurch forward almost comforting in its predictability. He turned his head to look at the screens. They were still playing ads, but the tone had shifted. The colours were more muted now, and the images were distorted. Faces flickered on the screens, their features blurred and stretched. A woman's voice cooed softly. "Everything is fine. You are safe. Stay with us." His stomach churned. He stood, grabbing the nearest pole for balance as the train rounded a bend. The next station was coming into view. Relief flooded him. He would get off, find a cab, and leave this nightmare behind. But the train didn't slow down. Instead, it barreled past the platform, and as he looked out through the window, he froze. The crowd was vast. A seething mass of humanity packed into every inch of the platform. Faces pressed close to the edge, their eyes wide and unblinking. He could swear they were following the train. No, following him specifically, their gazes piercing through the window as though they could see his very thoughts. His throat tightened and he stumbled back from the glass, heart hammering. The lights flickered from the jostling of the train, and when they steadied once more, the screens had changed. His own face filled each one, but it wasn't his face anymore. Some were leering, their grins twisted and grotesque. Others screamed silently, their mouths stretched impossibly wide. One appeared to weep, tears of static running down its distorted cheeks. He felt the bile rise in his throat as the images shifted and morphed, each more horrifying than the last. The reflection's eyes all locked on him, staring him down. The train's rhythm became erratic, the clatter of wheels uneven. A mechanical groan reverberated through the carriage, adding to the cacophony of his growing terror. He turned, trying to escape what he saw on the screens, but each one he faced displayed the same unblinking image of himself. The mouth moved, though his own stayed closed. Words scrawled across the bottom of the screens in jagged text.
"Where are you going?"
"Stop this," he whispered, his voice barely heard over the noise of the train. The reflection smiled, its teeth too sharp, too bright. The lights flickered again, and then the carriage plunged into total darkness. The thrum of the engine faded, replaced by silence, oppressive and heavy. He felt the carriage slow to a halt, but the doors did not open. He was trapped. The screens came back to life one by one, shining through the carriage with an eerie glow. His reflection showed in each screen once more, but now it appeared to breathe, its chest moving in time with his own. Some of the reflections grinned, others glared, and still others seemed to laugh silently, their mouths moving in cruel mockery. Then they all stilled. Every screen showed the same thing, his own image, head tilted ever so slightly, its unblinking eyes tracking him with surgical precision. As he moved, the reflection did not mimic him, but followed, its eyes cutting into him like a scalpel. He stumbled forward, reaching for a screen as if to claw it away, but the reflection's mouth moved independently, forming a single, soundless word. "Stay." The lights blinked out for the last time, and the train fell into an abyss of silence and shadow.